What's going on, guys? Welcome back to United View. Manchester United 1, Luton Town 0. Back-to-back Premier League victories for Manchester United. Back-to-back 1-0 victories in the Premier League for Manchester United. Welcome to the full-time view where you can call in and have your say. Of course, it's exclusive only to members to call in and have your say. If you do wish to call in, you do have to be a member. As I mentioned, it's exclusive to the UVMCs. If you want to join in, links in the video description. It's also the pinned comment in the live chat to become a member. If you are a member and you do want to call in, go to the channel, find your way, scroll your way to the community tab, and you can see the link there. Exclusive for members. You can call in and have your say. Right, 1-0. To Manchester United in the Premier League. Now, I was just watching the sort of wrap up of the match view there with KG, with Flex, with Minna, with Rich. Big up to the panel inside UVHQ, and I do hear what everyone's saying when it comes to this today. But to be honest with you, and KG was getting a bit of sort of stick with this. That I actually agree with kind of what he was saying. And I think realistically what KG was sort of saying there is that the game on the face of it, look, 1-0 at home against Luton, obviously, you look at that and you go, Luton at home, seriously? And it's a 1-0 win, you're scraping by. But I kind of agree with what KG is saying in the sense of the story here in this game today, and it has actually been a story throughout the season too, is that front three, that front four, they're not being clinical enough. They're not putting their chances to away. For all intents and purposes today, that's a 3-0 or 4-0 game. You know what I mean? And we're talking proper chances. Højlund in the first half, it's a good pass by Maguire to Rashford, gets a deflection, the cross across goal. He should score. It's a great save by the keeper, but he should score. Alejandro Garnacho, again, another good pass by Harry Maguire, who I thought did well today. I thought he did well. Crossfield ball, switches the play. Garnacho does the hard part, cut inside over the bar. Another one with Garnacho as well. Højlund finds him. He's through on goal. For some reason, he decides to try and round the goalkeeper, which isn't the right choice, but he should score. Second half, Marcus Rashford. Anthony just comes on, passes it to Rashford. He's through, straight at the goalkeeper. And then in the end, what it is, it's the players outside of that front three or four, not the attacking players, defenders or midfielders, bailing us out. You know, today it's Victor Lindelof. Earlier on in the season, it's been Varane. We've had points when it's been Casemiro. We've had points when it's been McTominay. And I'm looking at the stats after the game, and none of our forwards have more than one Premier League goal so far this season. That's the story here. That's the story. They need to be clinical. They need to be clinical and put their chances away. I would be much more concerned if we come out of today's game and we go, we created nothing, we got away with it. We created gilt-edged chances today, but we didn't take them. That's the point. It was against a low block, which, you know, we have struggled with for the last couple of years. You have these kind of games, but it's not as if, for me anyway, it wasn't as if I came out of the game and I went, we haven't made any chances. We didn't even break them down. We broke them down. Multiple times we broke them down. And a good team, a clinical team, is 1-0 up, 2-0 up by half time. Second half could have been 3 or 4, but we just didn't take those chances. So for me, I come out of the game frustrated because let's be completely transparent here. Once again, it's not a good watch. It's a dull watch. We're still not playing particularly great football, and we should be playing quicker, faster football. But I also look at it and look at some of these players and say, you just got to take your chances. Be clinical in front of goal. That's all we're asking for. I mean, I see Laurie Whitwell posted a tweet saying it's nearly a third of the way into the Premier League campaign. Manchester United is still yet to win a game by more than one goal. But he also then says they should have put a few past Luton and had some really good moments. Against a limited side, it's not a display that inspires great confidence. And you know what? I think that's perfectly right. To encapsulate that in a tweet, that's exactly what it is. You look at, we're nearly a third into the Premier League. We've yet to win a game by more than one goal. So we're not scoring enough goals. We should have beat Luton by 3 or 4 today and had chances to, didn't take the chances. But overall, when you win a game 1-0 against Luton, it doesn't inspire a lot of confidence. But as the thumbnail says, it's also a case of a win's a win. You know, a win's a win is back-to-back wins in the Premier League, and we'll take it because that's where we're at so far this season. But I do think there needs to be a bigger conversation about these attacking players because they're not being clinical. They're not taking chances. And that is also why I believe that, I mentioned this in a couple of the press conferences reactions as well, that That's why I think sometimes when we have things that go against us in games, the heads go down because we don't score goals. So, for instance, if we score a goal and it gets ruled out of VAR, we go, well, that's it. Why? Because we're not going to score. We're not scoring goals this season. That's it. If we concede a goal, we go, that's it. We're done. Why? Well, because we don't score goals. We've only been winning games by 1 goal. So if we've conceded, that's it. We're not going to come back. That's the mentality. So yes, it has to be a lot better. Yes, today was not inspiring at all. It's one of those games where it's always a banana skin, because if you lose or draw, it's completely embarrassing. If you win by 1-0, it's embarrassing. But I still look at it, and again, I look at those forward players, and they have to take their chances. Absolutely, they have to take their chances. That should have been and could have been, and it's the important bit there, could have been a 3 or 4-0 game. It could have and should have. I'd be far more concerned and far more frustrated coming on to the full-time view today if it was like we won 1-0, but we created next to nothing. But that just doesn't tell the story of the game. We did create chances. You've just got to take them. You have to. A good team does. A good team like City, Liverpool, Arsenal, all the teams that are above us, if they have the quality of those chances, when it gets to halftime, they're 2 or 3-0 up, and that's it. But that's what Luton are going to do this season in the Premier League. When they go away from home, they're going to get people behind the ball, low block. And we did create chances, just, again, didn't take them. That's the problem. Also, it's concerned about injuries too. Eriksen hobbles off. Højlund hobbles off. Thankfully, we've got the international break now, so we've got a couple of weeks that I don't think they'll be going on into international duty. So again, that's a positive. But story of the game is really story of the season. Take your chances. And the forward players got to score. That's it. A couple of super chats, then we'll get to some of your calls. Red Baron says, if we had confidence, it would be 4-0. Red Baron also says, no fear, hesitation, no surprise, no doubt. Philosophy we need our forwards to have. So, yeah, I appreciated what everyone was saying inside the UVHQ there. But realistically, again, I looked at it as we just got to take chances. I mean, it's not really that, it's not really that sort of difficult. I don't think, honestly. But there you go. Let's go to our first caller. Let's go to, who should we go to? Let's go to Lucas. Lucas Chan. What are your thoughts on all of that? Good evening or morning.
Hello. I'm doing good. All I have to say is it was a lead judge's performance. They done okay.
Well, exactly. That's why,
Done okay.
That's what it was.
That's why I honestly feel everybody did okay. Like, the only person I really have beef with today who had a bad performance, I thought, was Dallo. Everybody I thought was sixes, or maybe the center backs got 7s. Like, if that would be my player ratings, everybody got 6 minus Dallo. Dallo just like a 5 or a 4. Like, he just I don't know. He's not delivering the ball in well. I just don't know what he's doing. I feel like Dallo's a weak part of our game today. That's what I thought when I saw the game.
Does it concern you, like I was saying about, the opportunities that we are creating, for instance, today, but we're just not putting them away? I mean, again, that front, those strikers or attacking players, all of them, they don't have more than 1 Premier League goal this season.
I know.
Individually, which is crazy.
You could just see their confidence. Like, Garnacho had to take an extra touch. Like, Rashford, like, usually he just blasted, but he just tried to pass it right into the keeper. I don't know what he was doing. But like I said, at least we created chances today. It wasn't the most beautiful game, but it wasn't I thought we played well. We controlled the game well. They didn't look like they were ever going to score against us. I was pretty happy with that. The last few games have just been terrible for us, like, just mentally draining. But what I'm really wish that our teammates or players would do is just grab the game by the scruff of the neck. Like, everybody's just playing a system. No one wants to be like, you know what? I'm going to take this game. I'm going to control this game. I'm going to put Man United on our back. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's just after watching Beckham documentary, how he would just grab. No one wants to grab the game. Everybody,
or even like a Roy Keane, someone doing it as well. You know what I mean? Just
yeah. Oh, Owen, I think you've gone. Yeah, but no. To be fair, United just need a player that really helps them, just guide them through the game. No one wants to be there to guide United.
Having the game. I think we're back.
Yeah. Okay.
I think we're back. I
Sorry.
don't know. You know, I panicked because when that happens, Virgin Media. Oof, honestly, I've had my internet rupture. It's okay. We're fine. Breathe. Well done though, Lucas Chan. What were you saying?
Yeah, no, just we need like some characters on the team, like just guide us through the game. We don't have any like leaders. Like last year, it seemed like we had leaders, but this year, just everybody's confidence is just down on the ground. So it'd be really nice just to see a player be like, "Wow, he really carried us through the game." But like, even everybody's just having moments, and it's not good enough. I feel like we just don't have that like captain's performance, and it's just. I remember at the beginning of the season, everybody was saying, "Oh, we have Varane, we have Casemiro, we have Bruno, like we have all these." What seemed like we had all like these big players, but now everybody's just gone into hiding, which is really disappointing as a fan because like everybody seems stagnated and just trying to play to a system, and no one wants to just be creative or be that fearless leader that we kind of need.
Yeah.
Which is disappointing.
It is disappointing. It is frustrating. Are you also, speaking of disappointing and frustrated, are you worried about the injuries? I mean, we've got 2 more today, in Højlund and Eriksen. I mean, it's weird because when we have the injury conversation, then people start talking about excuses, but it does feel like they are piling up. And do you think that's a valid excuse for Ten Hag this season?
I want to kind of say that maybe a blessing in disguise. We need people to show up, and maybe this is their opportunity to take. Maybe Anthony Martial finally takes this opportunity. I know he's never played a full 90 minutes, but Anthony Martial, maybe this is his moment. He's like, all right, I got to take this. Maybe we finally get Kobe Mainu back in. Maybe Kobe's like, this is my moment now. Sometimes injuries can be a blessing. So I'm not going to say like, no one's doing anything. Like I said, everybody's just a passenger in the game. They just seem to be playing to a system. They don't want to do anything else. They don't want to do anything super creative. Everybody's doing okay. It's just, yeah.
Exactly. No, that's kind of where we're at the moment. Yeah. Indeed. Big up Lucas Chan for calling in. Excellent stuff as always. And well done. Look at that. Emergency host, Lucas Chan today. Virgin Media. I don't have a yellow card, but if I had one, yeah, just picture it. Thin ice. I don't know what that was. It might not even been Virgin Media, actually. Maybe I'm custom out for no reason. Might have been a StreamYard thing. I did get a thing saying like they've been having issues with StreamYard. So there you go. How many likes are we on? Currently hit the like button if you haven't already. Be sure to subscribe as well. Bottom right-hand corner. Let's go to another call. Let's go to Show. Show, what are your thoughts on the echo? The echo.
It's not nice. Is it still echoing?
Yeah.
Oh.
I did see a thing saying that if you're on like an Android or whatever, that's what it is. Yeah, there's an echo, so that might be why. We'll try one more time. We'll take a risk, but if it's the echo, then we got to go. We'll try again. Absolutely no way. Honestly,
I feel sick. That's how I feel. I feel sick.
Yeah.
Disgrace. That's what it is, a disgrace.
And you know what it is? It's not even Show's fault. It's not Show's fault. There was a thing, when you log in at the moment, there's a thing and it says like, there's an echo on people that are on like Android. But you know what? Take it as a life lesson, Show, because who even has an Android nowadays? Like who does that? Who's on Android nowadays? Yeah? Get Apple. Everything. Yeah? That's what you got to do. Yeah, no one should have it. That's karma. No Android, no standards. Disgrace, cheat. Put it back again.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah, that's what it is. Never. Joe Blackman says I have Samsung. Disgrace.
It's a disgrace. It's embarrassing. That's how I feel.
Yeah. Lucas Chan says I don't know. You and AppWeb. Well, just don't get the AirPods. That's fair. That's a thing. Just don't have that. Don't do that. So there you go. Matt Rogerson says, "Oh, and you gatekeeping elite is shit." I'll just get rid of Matt. Get rid of him. I don't. Get rid of him. Go away. Go. Leave. Get rid of him. Don't want him. Don't want him in here. Not at all. You know, oh, can I press the F?
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, that's because we can sit here all day. We can sit here all day. So, yeah, let's not go with that. So, let's go to another call. Let's go to, well, DN Vlog says full Apple person here. So let's go with DN. DN, full Apple person here. Speak.
Yes,
what are your
sir.
thoughts on the game?
We should have scored about 4. So,
Agreed.
and other than that, I think one mistake we made is, personally, I don't know how much you agree with this is, but Rashford should have been taken off the time Garnacho was taken off. I think Garnacho was playing way better than Rashford was. And you saw with his confidence how Rashford missed the chance when he hit it straight at the keeper. Instead of if it was Rashford from last season, he would probably scoring that goal any day. So that's one thing I was pissed off about. Another thing is we're just scratching on 1-0 wins for the past few weeks.
No, it's true. It's true. We've been winning games by. I mean, I think they said that every game we've won, particularly in the Premier League this season, has been by a single goal. And what do you put that down to? Did you put that down to, again, the sort of the attacking players not taking their chances? Did you put it down to tactics? What do you think that's due to?
So I think with Højlund, I was seeing a statistic. I think it was in the UCL. Yeah, they were comparing Nunes and Højlund and how many chances they've got this season. Højlund's got about 11 chances in total. That's the shot he's had in the games he's played for us in the Premier League. And Nunes has had like 45 or 46 chances. So you see, he's not getting the delivery he should. I agree. Today he did, and I think he should have scored at least 2 with the chances he had. But I agree with you. I think the front 4 aren't doing anything other than Bruno. Maybe he's maybe giving an assist or maybe scoring in the he scored in the Burnley game, right? And then he scored in the Fulham game. So yeah, I think it's only him who's contributing. Rashford's doing nothing. Anthony, I never expect him to do anything, even if he's on the pitch for 20 minutes. And with Højlund, I think he has to carry his UCL form into the Premier League. Whatever happens, he has to score.
Do you think with Bruno, because you mentioned him there, he's an interesting one because today, so for instance, you mentioned last week scores a goal, comes up clutch in the last minute, although didn't play well throughout the majority. He was quite sloppy, giving the ball away in key moments. In a game that you need some creativity, he didn't really have that. Is that just another example of it this season where he's just so up and down when it comes to the inconsistency?
I personally think, with Bruno, the only issue is I think he doesn't trust the midfielders behind him. So that be McTominay, whether that be Mount or Eriksen. With when Casemiro plays, he has that trust in the case that if they attack us, he doesn't have to go back as much because Casemiro's there. He defended, even though Casemiro hasn't been great this season as well, but still. And I think personally today, the only issue was Eriksen was playing okay in the first 40 minutes that he played. But since Mount came on, you have that issue with it's usually us playing with 2 10s rather than playing with an 8 and a 10 and then a holding midfielder, which McTominay was doing today. So I think that's one issue that Bruno has. Another thing is I think he's trying his best to provide the front 3 with the service he can give. But they're not just doing anything. When you don't have your wingers and strikers scoring, I think that pisses you off as a player as well because you're creating so much, but they don't give you any goals and stuff. So I think that's why we're not seeing the best Bruno we usually do.
Do you think also it has something to do, as I mentioned earlier on, we talk about the mentality and how quickly our heads drop if we concede a goal or a decision goes our way? Do you think that's based upon the fact that because we're not scoring goals or the players aren't taking their chances, if we do concede a goal, the mindset is, well, damn, we don't score that many goals, so that means we're not going to come back. Do you think it's that defeatist? Is it just confidence?
I do agree with you. In case we do concede, for example, you see the Copenhagen game. We conceded the 3rd and then we conceded the 4th. I think the few players in the team who do show some desire, probably Bruno, Garnacho, and Højlund. I think, and Onana. I see that he's getting into the way he should be playing. That's why we bought him. But the others, I think, don't. They just go down as we concede, or maybe, as you said, the decision goes against us. So I think it's just like, okay, we've tried our best. It's not going our way. It won't go our way after this. And then the same thing that's been happening for the past 10 years. They throw the manager under the bus rather than just taking the blame themselves.
Yeah, I mean, it's so important to win today, just for the sake of like Ten Hag, back-to-back Premier League wins. Not pretty. Where do you see this going after the international break? Do you think we can build some momentum, or do you think it's just going to be a bit like this for the rest of the season?
I was thinking about something. So I just read on X that Ten Hag suspended for the game against Everton.
Yeah,
because of the
yeah,
yellow cards
the
he
yellow
has.
card, yeah.
So I personally feel we'll give our best performance then.
Oh, really?
I feel that. Even though he'll be in their ears and stuff, he'll be telling them what to do and stuff. But I personally feel, because I think when he's on the touchline, they feel more pressure. Even today, I don't know if you saw it, in the last 5 minutes or so, Rashford did something that he shouldn't have, and Ten Hag was shouting at him. And you should have seen Rashford's face. It was like, how dare he say something to me like this? So it was like the players don't react positively to whatever Ten Hag's shouting at them or whatever he's trying to say to them. So still, I think we are going to go on a run. I say this every time we end up winning these kind of games, but this time I feel this because I've heard maybe there's a chance Shaw might come back.
Yeah,
after the
and
international break.
and Malacia
And
too,
Malacia.
hopefully.
And then I feel the biggest thing has to be the front three. If Rashford clicks, and I don't get this. He clicks with England. Why he can't click with us is just atrocious.
Yeah.
So, but I think I'm hopeful. This is the game that gets us starting into. Hopefully, we end up winning the last 2 UCL games. Otherwise, Ten Hag is in for a tough Christmas and January transfer window.
Yeah, totally agree. Big up DM for calling in as well. An Apple user, and look at that. Worked. Nothing wrong with it. So big up to him. See what a couple of people in the chat are saying. Lucas, who was just on, big up Lucas, says, I was happy with the Garnacho sub. K-Flow says, Garnacho will soon see the bench. Jules says, do these men not want their goal bonuses? Not that they need them, with a shrug. That's very true. Court Star says, I thought Rashford wasn't amazing today, but I thought he
done okay.
Shah says Rashford was the pass before the goal. BSB says conceded 30 goals this season. It's not on attacking players. But this is the point, isn't it? I think it's a bit of both. I totally agree that you can't hide from the facts that we've conceded a ton of goals, but we also haven't scored a ton either. And I think, as I mentioned, going back to sort of the mentality, I think that collapse is related to that we're not scoring a lot of goals. So if we do concede, head goes down, we lost the game, we give up. I think that's part of it too. I really do. Because if you're a free-flowing, high-scoring team, when you do concede, you just shrug it off and go, it doesn't matter. We'll win 4-1. So I do think it's a bit of both. I don't think it's just because we've been conceding so many goals. Because actually the last couple of games, take out the Copenhagen one, because that's go down to 10 men. The last 2 Premier League games we kept clean sheets. So it's and we haven't won a game this season by more than a goal. So I think that's part of it as well. K-Flow says, I think it's a bit of both. So there you go. Let's go to another call. Let's take a risk. Let's go to Charles. It got very heated last time we were on together. I'm not expecting much to change today, but a win's a win. Charles, the floor is yours.
Yeah, it's another win's a win. This is like what's the 10th one?
What, of the season? I don't know how many games we've won this season. In the Premier League, we've won 7 games.
Even say 10? That's wishful thinking. This is like the 7th one or 8th. We don't have up to 10 wins, do we?
It's probably about 10, actually. Just thinking about that. 7 in the league, 1-1 in the Carabao Cup, we won 1 in the Champions League. So what's that? That's 9. So maybe it's probably 9 or 10. 9 or 10.
And none of them were really wins that would give you any sort of confidence. But okay,
No, maybe, yeah. But there was only the Palace game, wasn't it? In the Carabao Cup, we felt pretty good coming out of it. The rest have been very much, a win's a win.
Yeah, it's been tough. Today, the players just couldn't score. They just, I don't know. I don't understand. They just couldn't score. Yeah, you see.
Why do you think that is? Because we can talk tactics and stuff like that, but these are gilt-edged chances. It's not a case of chance creation. Do you think it goes to mentality? Do you think it goes to confidence?
The confidence, the mentality, it's gone. Even Rashford, that we always cuss out. He's always shooting when he shouldn't shoot. This guy, when the ball was passed to Anthony, he could have hit it one time, but he said no. He took a touch. Next thing you know, he's passing it to the keeper. He isn't even sure of what he used to do that was rubbish. But at least it was getting him goals. Like, I don't know. Garnacho also, I don't even think what we saw from Garnacho, that is Garnacho in a nutshell. I think he is still very, very raw, so he's not clinical enough. In that situation, it looked like he just had zero spatial awareness, because why would you try to round the keeper when there's defenders running at you? Like, take your shots. So he will probably learn as he grows, hopefully. But beyond that, Højlund too, like, this guy and the Premier League, it just cannot happen.
Yeah. Do you think he gets too involved with the defenders? Because I saw someone say this on social media. You know, like you see him a lot often, sort of wrestling with the player behind him, backing up. Do you think he's almost doing that a bit too much in the games? Because again, today you can't really suggest that he didn't have chances, because he had a couple that he really should have scored.
I don't think, because he does the same thing in the Champions League. I think it's just how he plays. He's just a very physical guy. He likes to push people around, just step on toes, make people uncomfortable. That's just him. And honestly, it's not a problem, but I think he's even injured now, so that's not even looking good. It's just it's getting very dire right now. And we're going into a very, very busy season. Very busy.
Yeah, I mean, again, the fortunate thing, I suppose, with the injuries is that we do now have like 2 weeks, and we hopefully are going to get players back afterwards. But it's a really weird question, isn't it? When you ask, how can you make the forward players score more goals? Because I totally agree with you when it comes to Garnacho, because I had the same thought in the game. Because it feels like every time Garnacho makes a bit of positive progress, whether it be coming on as a sub or maybe starting one game and doing okay, the game afterwards, like you said, you see why he should come on.
He's just raw. You just see him and you're like, yeah, I can see why you're a bench player. It's just I don't know. But then on the other hand, I just want to know, why isn't Mount or Amrabat playing?
What do you think that was based off? Because he said in the press conference, didn't he, that he was happy with the balance in midfield prior to the red card midweek. So I wasn't too surprised with that. But now, if you're Mason Mount, are you licking your lips now? Because we've seen what Ten Hag's like. If Mount comes in and does okay for a couple of games, that'll be a spot for a while.
Yeah, but the thing is, Mount came in today, and I know I just said, why isn't Mount playing? But he came in today and I didn't even notice him.
That might be why then.
No, it's not that, because it's like, this was his guy. This was his number 7. So like, surely when you bring him, you plan to play the team to suit him in a way. The guy isn't playing, and then when he plays, it's like the game just passes through him. Like he's just there, but he isn't there. And then when he shows up, it's like you just see him lose the ball on the right. You don't see him for like 7 minutes afterwards. Then he pops up, passes the ball. You don't see him again. It doesn't make sense. Amrabat also, he was supposed to be the guy that plays next to Casemiro, the guy that benches Casemiro. Now he's on the bench, and Scott McTominay is playing in the CDM role. I'm not understanding what is going on. Like, the only thing I can give Ten Hag credit for actually is benching Anthony.
Yeah.
Like,
no, I agree. Because people didn't see that coming a couple of weeks ago, did they? I mean, you could argue it had to get so bad because his performance against Fulham was diabolical.
That guy is horrible. And I honestly believed that he was in Bruno and Rashford's group where he's just going to play. But Jesus Christ, I feel like there is a level of bad that even Ten Hag has to put his hands up for. And Anthony reached that level consistently. But even when he came on, assist was there.
It was there, yeah.
Rashford didn't give it to him. It's like we have a ton of bench players just starting for no reason.
No, it's true when it comes to with the goals. I mean, finally, someone said it in the chat earlier on. What do you think it is the bigger issue? Because someone said, "Oh, we've been conceding too many goals this season." But do you think it is related to the fact that we're not scoring enough either? Because again, we haven't won a game more by more than one goal. None of our forward players have more than one Premier League goal this season. So do you think in a way that they are related in the sense of when we do concede, the mindset is, well, that's it, because we're not scoring any goals. So, is that part of the problem too?
I feel like the players know that they can't control games, and that's what plays into their heads. Because even when they score, they know we can't hold this. We have no control of the situation going on, so they're already tense. Then they concede. When they concede first, they're like, "Oh shit, we are screwed," because there is no way we are going to control this game, put our legs on the ball to create anything. It's like, just like the person said, we're not scoring and we are conceding. We're not doing anything right. So there's nothing about our game where you'd be like, okay, we are improving here, or we are starting from here to move forward. It's just, I don't even know. We're just all over the place. And honestly, this guy, he has to get it right, or he needs to be shown the door.
I'm already in fairness,
that he
and in
needs to
fairness, I know you're in the camp of you said last time he needs to go, but I don't think the first part you said there is completely wild, because look, if he doesn't get it right, eventually he will lose his job. I mean, that's how football works, isn't it? I think that, I don't think you can necessarily argue that he's got back-to-back Premier League wins, which has given him some currency going into the international break. I mean, imagine if we'd have lost today. Could you imagine the reaction to all of that?
Oh no, I was already telling people he has to be sacked before he gets off the pitch. If he loses to Luton, he can't leave that pitch without getting sacked.
And what's your mindset now?
Oh shit, sack him! I would sack him yesterday still.
Charles, I mean, I knew it was going. I knew it was going. That it was going okay. It was going good. And then overall, if we're gonna let's get a Charles rating in the chat. Let's get a Charles rating for that call. To be fair, overall,
done okay.
Done okay for that call. And look, I'm not doing the whole censoring people opinions, stuff like that. If people have their opinions on Erik ten Hag and say get him out and all that kind of stuff, but we did win. we did win today. But there you go. Let's go to another call. Let's go to Chalaboy Comics. Follow that one. What are your thoughts on the game?
Thank you, Owen. Good to see you. Thoughts on the game. I just think I'm so glad we won. I'm glad we won, and I'm glad we kept a clean sheet. I know last time we called, I was like, "Oh, it's gonna be 3-0. It's gonna be a dominant performance."
Yeah,
it might as well have been the chances that we got, right? And I know Charles is saying, "Oh, we should sack Ten Hag," but can you imagine if we did lose that game, having those chances? What does Ten Hag have to do? At that point, it's his fault that Garnacho missed the sitter, Rashford missed the sitter. So I think that's just a silly opinion in that case. Although I do admit, though, if we had lost, the pressure would have been insane, and that would be the conversation. But I'm just happy that we won the game, and I just want to shout out Harry Maguire, who I thought was phenomenal today, and he has been for the last month or so. He's playing with confidence, as Ten Hag says, on the front foot, winning his duels, switching play. So I just love that new energy from him. And, I'm pretty happy he's starting. I know a lot of people are like, why is Varane not starting? But I think it's as simple as Ten Hag sees Varane as a right centre-back, Maguire is a right centre-back, and Maguire currently is outperforming or hasn't done anything to lose his shirt. And it's the same way he did it with Casemiro and McTominay at the start of last season, and with Mount as well. So I think it's just a situation where if you don't do anything to lose your shirt, I won't take it from you. And if you haven't done anything to make sure you win the shirt back, I won't give it to you. So I think he's being fair, and I'm just happy with the result.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned there because your prediction was 3 or 4-0, and at the time we both went, oh, wow, But you are right in the sense of it should have been. It should have been. Why do you think that is that we're struggling to score those goals this season? Is it purely down to confidence, do you think? Because it's not a case of chances not being created.
Right.
It's just a case of them not being put in the net. So what do you put that down to?
I think it's confidence, or at least I hope that's all it is. Because if it's something deeper, then we're in big trouble. But I think it's confidence. It's one of those things where, when you're confident, everything you touch turns to gold. Remember, all goals. I remember when Bruno first came in and he started scoring, and literally every shot he took, it was entering the back of the net. Every pass he made was an assist. So I think it's a situation of just confidence, being sure of yourself. Rashford has come under a lot of scrutiny, of late, and rightly so. And so he's just second guessing himself. Garnacho, I think, is like, oh, I have to score this. If I don't, maybe I won't play again. So I think it's a matter of confidence. And I think we'll get there. The good thing is that the chances are being created. We just need to reset our minds and just, be a little bit more clinical with the way we approach the game.
More injuries, though, today. One of the players that should have scored, Højlund, went off hamstring problem. Christian Eriksen, he limped off as well. I saw some crazy stat about the amount of players we've had injured so far this season. I mean, obviously, injury is part of football, so you can't really control that aspect of it. But when are we going to catch a break when it comes to some of these injuries? Because he keeps talking about he wants consistency and continuity, right. But how can we get that if we're getting injuries every week?
So, that's a good question. And it's something I'm glad you asked, because I wanted to bring it up. I think we're also contributing to that, or at least the compounding of the impact of those injuries, in the sense that if we are comfortable in our games, we're making earlier subs, we're resting people who have niggles. We're not necessarily feeling under pressure to play someone who may not be match fit because we're chasing a victory or chasing the result. And one of the things that's scaring me is actually Wan-Bissaka not being in the squad. I don't know if Ten Hag spoke about it. I haven't seen anything about it. Maybe
illness. It was ill.
Illness. I hope so, because there were some sort of questions that, did we bring him back a little bit too early? The hamstring was a little bit more serious than we thought it was, but he came back earlier than what the rumored timeline was. So I'm really nervous that he aggravated his injury again after the Champions League game. And I'm just to the point, the wider point I'm making is, if we score those goals, halftime we're leading 3-0, and let's say Højlund is carrying an injury that Ten Hag knows about in training, maybe he's off at halftime, and maybe Martial comes in. But because we've put ourselves in this boiler room where every result has to be a win, I think we're taking a little bit more risks and playing people who aren't fully match fit. So I think it's just about just the details, being able to just execute so that we can just give ourselves some room to breathe. So I think while injuries are part of the game, I think our lack of clinical, performances is putting pressure on us as a whole club, and we're forcing people to come back. So I think that needs to change. And I'm so glad the international break has come now, just so that we can get any niggles just out the team, and hopefully Højlund will be back. Maybe it's probably 2-3 weeks he's out. So
yeah,
maybe this is Martial's time to try win his shirt back.
Imagine. I mean, I spoke about this last night, actually, and I want to get your thoughts on this, because you mentioned the international break coming up, and it's been rumored that Luke Shaw is going to be back after the break. Probably Malacia is going to be back after the break. Kobbie Mainoo's just back in right now. Wan-Bissaka was ill, but it's good to have him back. Hopefully, Højlund, Eriksen aren't that bad. When it comes to Luke Shaw, though, what position do you think he's going to be played in when he comes back? Because we've had this talk about Maguire and Varane being right-sided centre-backs, but part of the problem has also been that we don't really have a left-sided centre-back. And obviously today, the left-sided centre-back in Lindelof scored. Mm-hmm. But if we've got Reguilon available, play today, we've got Malacia available after the international break. When Shaw comes back, is he going to be coming back as a left-back, or do you think he's going to come back as a left-sided centre-back?
That's a good question, and it's something I've been thinking about. And I think the simple answer, or the cop-out answer, is both. I think it's going to depend on the opposition, and also depend on how fit Luke Shaw is to go, let's say, 90 minutes running up and down the wing, or 90 minutes against a body on him the whole time. But what I would say is I definitely see him starting over Varane, and in that position. So in this left center back. So I think he's going to initially come back as a left back. So we'll have Luke Shaw, Lindelof, and Maguire. But to your point, it wouldn't surprise me if Ten Hag is actually, no, we need him in the build-up, on the left side, left footer. Let's play Maguire and Shaw, and then add Reguilon. The only reason why I think he'll come back in the left back position is that I'm not sure I'm convinced with with Reguilon in that position, right? I think he hasn't done too well. He's not that level of player, which is why he's on loan to us, right? But the alternative to that is having Dalot play as left back, Wan-Bissaka as right back, and then Luke Shaw and Maguire as the two center backs. So I think that's sort of those are the formations he's going to play with, and it will just depend on who the opposition is and how he's trying to attack. But I think we're going to see Luke Shaw, as a left center back in a lot, in a significant amount of games, I think, after the international break.
And just a couple other things before we wrap things up. And now, obviously, on the match view, KG was actually being quite optimistic. He was pointing out, and it's true, we're only 6 points behind. 6 points off the top, actually. 6 points behind Arsenal in second, though. Last 5 games, we've won 3, lost 2. We're like 3 points behind the top 4. Granted, Liverpool, Villa still got to play. 5 points behind Spurs. Have we been too negative this season? Is the table lying to us a little bit? Or where do you think it kind of stands for us in the league at the moment?
I think it's just about winning one game at a time. I think, yes, we have been a little bit too negative, but at the same time, I did see a quote going around by Jose Mourinho where he said, when a team is happy that they played well and not the fact that they won the game, that's when big clubs stop being big clubs. So I think there is a demand for us to be critical whenever we lose. Like if we lost to Luton, no matter how well we played, it's unacceptable to lose to Luton at home, right? So I do believe we were a little bit too negative, but I understand why, because we are a huge club. In terms of the table, I do want to also say we are -3 in goal difference.
Yeah.
We don't score too many goals. So I think it's just a matter of just winning the next game and forgetting about who's ahead of us and just taking care of our own set of fixtures. Do I think we can make it into the top 4? Yes. Do I think we have the firepower to challenge for the league title? Definitely not, right?
No,
but
yeah.
let's see when we have all our team back fit and see whether Luke Shaw is that big of a miss, because I love him. I think he's integral to our build-up. So I'm happy that we didn't lose. I'm happy we kept a clean sheet, and I'm happy we're going into the international break without the vultures, circling around us. And let's build on this.
Oh,
and,
they'll still be there anyway. They'll still be there anyway. Don't worry about that. Finally, Andre Onana kept a clean sheet today. This is a wild stat that I've just seen. So back-to-back clean sheets for Andre Onana. He has now got the second highest clean sheets in the Premier League. It's only Sam Johnson and Nick Pope have only got more clean sheets to him, 5 apiece. He's level at 4 clean sheets apiece with Vicario from Spurs. Has he turned it around a bit in the last few games, you think?
Yes. Like just right off the bat, he is way more confident than he was before. What I would say, I'm still a little bit shaky with his diving technique when it comes to shots from outside the box. I think it's a little bit awkward. But funnily enough, when it's a flash shot, his reactions are really good, and he's able to block the ball or make the saves. But I'm just happy with the confidence he's showing. He has turned it around to some extent. There's a little bit of technical details where you're kind of like, oh, this was a bit shaky. He's still palming the ball back to the opposition in the box, for rebounds. Luckily, we haven't conceded from that. But it's looking much better, because I was losing faith a little bit. But after he saved that penalty against Copenhagen, I just said, you know what? I'm not going to criticize him for the rest of the season, because he kept our Champions League hopes alive. Now we threw it away, but I just want to say I'm happy with his performances as of late. Hopefully he can kick on and just be a little bit more short. But let's keep everyone fit and see where we can go from there.
Indeed. Big up, Chalaboy Comics. Excellent call, as always. Big up to you, long-time member on the channel as well. We've got a super chat here from Red Baron once again. It says, is it true when Ralph came in, he brought in a psychologist, but the players chose not to go, probably due to stigma around mental health? I don't know that last part of it. I know that he did bring in a sports psychologist. I don't know about whether or not they did go. I think... psychology. I mean, I've got a psychology degree. I mean, full transparency. So obviously I'm a big believer in it, whether it comes to sports psychology or occupational psychology, clinical, biological, you name it. So You know, I'm a big believer in that, but I don't know whether they did or they didn't. I don't know if there's one currently on staff. I would think there is under Erik ten Hag at the moment, but it does feel like, doesn't it, that, you know, some of the issues this season are sort of confidence issues, and it also feels like too, not only is it they're confident issues, but also a little bit like they're just there aren't these opportunities to sort of build up the confidence or build up momentum, possibly also due to the injuries as well. You know, because anytime it looks like we're building momentum, then players go out of the team, we have to change, or something bad happens, something negative happens. I don't know. But there you go. We've got a win, as the title says. A win's a win. We take it. We'll move on, go into the international break. Not in scintillating form, but back-to-back Premier League wins, back-to-back clean sheets in the league. Andre Onana, as I said, one clean sheet behind the leaders when it comes to the Golden Gloves, which is wild. Which also goes to show why the Golden Glove is such a weird trophy. And a lot of people were pointing to that last season about David De Gea, and not to take away from him at all, but it's a strange one because it's an individual trophy, but it's kind of not an individual trophy at the same time, because a clean sheet is also on the defense as well. And you can have a situation like with us, that we've conceded a lorry load of goals this season in the Premier League, but also be like up there when it comes to clean sheets in the Premier League too. It's a very strange, very strange one. But there you go. That's the full-time view for you today. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. A reminder, you can check out all of the fan views from inside UVHQ, from Flex, KG, Rich, Minna. There's also going to be player ratings. We'll get player ratings from KG, Rich, and Minna, as well as Flex's player ratings too. Tomorrow, we'll have Matchday Reloaded live, 9 a.m. as per usual. We'll also have Flex having his sort of view, reflection, if you will, on, it could be anything really. Sometimes it's the game, sometimes it's some news, sometimes it's just how he's feeling at that point in time. So that'll be coming up probably around midday, something like that, around that time tomorrow. Then it's Sunday. You know what that means. Full view settings with the panel will be live at 7 p.m. discussing, I guess, where we're at now. It's good to have these full views at the end of, you know, just coming into an international break are always quite good, because you can kind of, you know, assess where we're at, you know, the block of games. So how do we feel heading into this international break? How do we feel about where we are on the table, performances, you know, all of the above. And I would, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell. That's the important part. Click the notification bell, because I feel like it's going to be a busy couple of weeks. I mean, they keep saying, don't they, when it comes to the Ineos and Sir Jim Ratcliffe thing, that we're going to get some form of an announcement maybe by the end of the month. It's not going to happen on Monday. Of course, that's the funeral for Sir Bobby Charlton. I don't know if it'll be next week. They say that's best case scenario, but certainly there's going to be a lot going on. There's always a lot going on in the world of Manchester United. So indeed, there you go. Chris said, Owen, what's your psychological evaluation on KG?
It's embarrassing.
In fairness, no, we should. I think we did actually. I think it was a UV Raw. I think it was UV Raw. We got a psychological evaluation. We got the report back, and it just said literally a couple of words. Fucking reckless! That's all it said. That was just the file. It was quite strange, actually. I wonder if that's coming out soon. I can't remember. I'm joking, of course. Anyway, guys, have a good Saturday. Enjoy your weekend. I'll speak to you again very soon. Peace.